Hey everybody, welcome to another 700 home run episode of Phil and the Mic. I am Darrin Michael, as always, and with me, the man who just flew in on the red eye, getting back from LA, where he caught Albert Pujols' 700th home run, Mr. Phil Cleese. And there it is. He's got the ball with him. Unbelievable.
Big day for me. Figure this bad boy's worth a cool $250,000, maybe more.
Oh, it's got to be worth more than that.
I was throwing elbows, knocking people over. You didn't see me in my green
Seriously.
Notre Dame sweatshirt?
You know what?
Amazing.
I saw it. I'm like, who is that guy in LA with a Notre Dame
I
sweatshirt on when it's like 80 degrees? It was
I
crazy.
may have knocked over a few women on the way, but equal rights. A couple elbows to the head. Got to get the ball. What are you gonna
You
do?
know, the thing, let me just ask you this. How did you know with him at 698, like just spur of the moment, you're like, hey, you know what? It's a Friday. I just have a good feeling about this game. They're playing the best team in baseball by far. I just feel like he's going to hit 2 home runs tonight.
Felt like the Albert Pujols thing to do, though, right? Go back to his only other, well, not his only other team, but like the team he had just spent a year on. LA, all the stars are out.
Yep,
He
yep.
had a nice little soft throwing lefty he was facing early on, and Albert has a little bit of a little magic in him. That was a fun night for baseball fans. I mean,
Yeah.
and not that this season necessarily feels this way, but between Pujols going for 700, which after his hot run became a possibility, and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
when you see what Judge is doing, it takes me a little back to that first McGuire Sosa year, where there's some cool things going on at the end of the year, and everybody's chasing a couple things, so that's fun. And obviously we got Judge at 60 now, so
Yeah.
Pujols
And,
700. That's awesome.
well, the thing is, like, the great thing is you've got two guys that you can't help but like. Like, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Pujols. And Judge, I read an incredible article about him, and a fan caught. I don't know if you ever heard this, but there was a fan that caught one of his home run balls, and he saw that there was a little kid next to him that was just a huge Aaron Judge fan, and he was, so he actually gave him the ball after he caught it, and it was on camera, and it just went viral, and next thing you know, Judge is bringing those guys into the dugout to meet him. I mean, and he's hugging the little kid. I mean, just it's like it's like some of these guys,
Yeah.
they take baseball a certain way, like
Hmm.
Albert Pujols. He also is,
Yeah.
is one of those guys that takes off his jersey and hands it to fans and stuff,
Yeah.
and Judge, the kid was wearing a Judge jersey, and Judge is saying, you know what, it almost brings a tear to my, like I grew up wearing other people's jerseys and
Hmm.
imagined having my own, and here I am, and people are wearing my jersey,
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
gets it.
like,
He gets it. He's a
yeah, and it's like, we hate the Yankees, you and I, but how do you not respect a guy like Aaron Judge?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Judge is an interesting thing for like a non-Yankee supporter, or in my case, a hater.
Yeah,
He's super likable. And then not that I really cared that much, but I did think they lowballed him a little bit in the offseason. Not that it sounds dumb to say that when it's like 200 plus $1 million contract, but when you think about the weight his name carries. I
yeah,
mean, I know this from a youth sports perspective, right? My
yeah,
son plays travel baseball. We play teams all over the state. Every team has a number 99 jersey.
yeah, of
Every
course.
team, every team has a number 99 jersey. The fact that the Yankees didn't put like more weight to the fact that he is one of the top two or three most
Yeah,
recognizable, because he's 6'8" and he plays in pinstripes. He's one of the two or three most recognizable faces in MLB who lacks stars by nature. MLB doesn't really promote their stars. They're not the NBA like that. They're very like it's a
yeah,
team sport, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And so there was an extra amount of money, and now you could squabble about it, but there was an extra amount of money Judge needed to get because of all that stuff. And they kind of treated him like just the player and not the total package. And
I
now he
agree.
bet on himself, and now they're going to pay, if they keep him, they're going to pay over 100 million more.
Oh, I mean,
And he's
is
a
it?
year older. So
Listen,
like they it didn't work out for them.
listen, and
Or
it's
he's
good.
going to leave.
It's going to be interesting after the season. We'll get into that more, because I mean, you're probably looking at the highest contract ever. You're probably looking at the highest average year ever. I mean, you're probably talking about, north of 45 million a year for this guy. I mean, especially if he wins a triple crown. How do
And
you just,
and by the way, good segue. He's got a legitimately amazing chance. So we talked about three things. I was wrong. I said Pools wouldn't get to 700. He got to 700, and I'm happy I was wrong. I wanted him to.
yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about will Goldschmidt get the Triple Crown, and I said no, he's not even close anymore.
No.
And we
And
did.
he's still having a phenomenal season.
Oh, he's going to win the
But
MVP.
but
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
but yeah, absolutely,
he's
absolutely.
not going to win the RBIs or the batting average.
No, or
And
the home runs. He's not going to win
oh
any
yeah,
of
he's
them.
not going to win any of them. Exactly, he's not going to win any of them. And then the third one we didn't talk about was Judge, and like we didn't even consider a Triple Crown for Judge.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't.
now he's sitting on the precipice of a triple. He's got a legit shot. He's actually running away with two of the three, and now he's in the lead for the third for the batting average. It's a nose to nose what I think Bogart's, interestingly, on the Red Sox, but amazing. And
I
that
mean,
will
listen,
that'll
if he,
that's a top 3 year of all time.
oh, yes, there. That's exactly what I was going to say, because he leads the AL, I think, in 8 categories. I mean,
Yeah, it's beyond that. Yeah.
that's absurd. I don't know if
Nobody's
anybody has
ever
ever
bet
done
on
that.
themselves and had a better walk year. You
Amen.
can't. You can't.
Amen to that. Usually it's nothing like this, but yeah. So it's good. We'll get into all that. There's so many great topics to talk about with baseball, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the season. But really quickly, I just wanted to tell you a quick funny story, then we'll move on.
Let's
So
go.
I go and get Mexican last night. So I'm in the place, and I'm getting pickup, and I'm going through all the food, because I always look through it, because God forbid somebody messes up the order. One of my girls will just roast me, and I just don't want to do that. So I said to the guy, I'm like, these tacos have soft shells. I'm supposed to have hard shells. And he's like, okay. So he tells the guy, and he's like, hey, this guy, he was supposed to have hard shells with his to-go order. Can you go back and get them? So the guy goes back. Next thing I know, he comes out to my turnaround, and he's standing there, and he's got a plate with 2 taco shells on him. I'm like, dude, I'm like, is there any chance you can put these in a box for me, since they're to go? I'm like, oh my God, are the people that desperate for help? Yeah, he literally just brought out a plate with 2 taco shells on it. It was actually the funniest thing.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I thought that was hysterical. So I want to do one quick trivia with you, as
we like the trivs.
I know.
Triv action.
All right, one quick trivia, and I'm not even going to say that you're going to get them all. I would be impressed.
You always look to embarrass me with these. Go ahead.
I would be impressed if you got 10 out of 15. I'd be impressed. If you get 12,
set the bar so high.
If you get 12 out of 15, I will call you a true fan.
Oh God. Okay.
There are 15
What's the topic?
There's 15 major league players.
Okay.
In the Hall of Fame. That
yeah.
have played for the Mets. Who are they?
15.
15 that have played for the Mets.
At least it's a fun question for me. All right, I'm gonna just try.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find paper that I can like jot some names down. All right. All right. Piazza.
It's a tough one. Yep. That's one.
Seaver.
Seaver's 2.
Gary Carter.
Gary Carter's 3.
Pedro.
That's a nice one you got. That's 4.
Ricky Henderson.
That's a tough one. It's 5.
Willie Mays.
Hey.
Willie Mays Hayes here. Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan did play for them. That's 6. Or that's 7. I'm sorry, it's 7.
Oh, I don't want to say that one yet.
Yet, just say it.
I don't want to get anything wrong yet. I want to keep going until I until I hit a wall, which I might be hitting already.
Already? You're only at 7.
Okay.
There's still a few easy ones that you haven't gotten.
I know. I gotta.
I mean, of course, the tough part is, none of the rest of the guys played a majority of their career for the Mets. It was just season here, season there.
Yeah.
And some of them were actually in your lifetime. 1, 2, 3.
3 were in my lifetime.
Yeah, there's still 3 that you might have seen play. Yeah.
Why am I having trouble with this? This isn't riveting podcasting TV here.
This is unbelievable that you
I'm
are.
just trying. I mean, we're
I mean,
doing this early in the morning. Let's tell
you
our
ca-
viewers.
you call yourself a Mets fan.
I
You
mean,
call
dude.
yourself a Mets fan.
All
You know
right.
what? I'll tell you what. Why don't we put it on
Was
pause?
Jeff Kent put in the Hall of Fame?
No, Kent. I'm gonna write that down because that's a big X, dummy.
I mean, I think that's a good one. I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't say he doesn't, but man, come on. You're supposed to be. I mean, you're supposed to be better than this. You're not.
You're
You're
making
not.
me feel sad too.
It's the Notre Dame sweatshirt,
Oh,
man.
was Roberto Alomar?
Roberto Alomar. That's number
All
8.
right, all right,
Come
all right.
on,
I didn't think he was. That's why I didn't say him. He was one of the
dude.
guys I didn't say. The other guy that when I said I don't want to say him yet because I don't
Yeah,
think he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't
yeah.
think it's right, but Carlos Delgado,
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
I'm
He's
another
not in
great
the Hall of
player.
Fame. Listen, he had 450 home runs.
Oh,
You know,
Eddie
yeah.
Murray. Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray, that's number 9. Come on, come on. Can you get one more? Can you get
All
one
right,
more?
all right, all right. So I mean, like, we aren't doing this on the spot. I've had a whole 60 seconds.
Dude, listen, I'm embarrassed for you right now.
Really? That
Yeah.
bad? You think I'm
Yeah,
doing?
I'm embarrassed for you.
All right, all right.
People are gonna be watching this podcast. They're gonna be like, this guy is not a true Mets fan. He doesn't even know these other 6 guys, possibly guys he's never heard. No, I'm just kidding. You've heard of all of them at least.
Yeah, I'm sure I have heard all of them.
Oh my God, I'm
Joe
getting
Torre,
bored.
but
Joe
that's
Torre.
yeah, but that
There's
was as a coach.
no, he played for the
Yes, but
Mets.
he got in as a coach.
I didn't say. I just said
Well,
played
that's
for.
tricky. But
I
that's
didn't.
yeah, but he's not even in for the same reason.
I didn't say the reason they were in. I mean,
All
how
right, all
many?
right, all
Okay,
right. So then Gil Hodges.
Gil Hodges is one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
now it's got me in a different direct. Well, I mean, you tricked me up there. Casey Stengel.
I don't. Did he actually play for the Mets?
I don't know, dude.
I'll give it to you though. I'll give it to
I
you.
appreciate it.
I'll give it to you. All right. So
I
we'll
don't.
call it 12. We'll call it 12.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
give me a. Is there
No.
any pitchers or no?
1, 2 pitchers. Yes. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Pitchers?
We'll save it for the end. If something comes to your head during
Billy
the
Wagner.
podcast, he's not in, dude.
He's getting in. He's getting in.
Oh man, but he's not in.
All right. No, not him.
I don't know. We could be here all day trying to wait for you to.
Just tell me who I missed. Tell me who I missed.
Yogi Berra,
Oh, jeez.
Richie Ashburn,
Okay.
Tom Glavine.
Ah.
How'd you miss that?
Yeah.
And these 2 I can understand you missing. Duke Snyder and Warren Spahn
I didn't know they played for the Mets.
at the very end of their career. Well, that's because you're not much of a Mets fan.
Yeah, that
Well,
one I
so,
didn't know.
So
Great,
it turns out you're just your average Met
12.
fan.
I got like 11 or 12. Jeez.
Well, yeah, but still, man, that's not as impressive as I
That's
would
why I
have
don't
thought.
like
Anyway,
trivia because it usually ends with you insulting me.
all right. Well, yeah, that's why we do trivia because I have fun with it. But anyway,
I know.
so you kind of redeemed yourself last week with some of your football picks. We got fill up your bank account. You were 2-1 last week, which now puts you at you're probably still beating the New York Post at 2-4 with 0-2 for your locks, but we'll get to that because I don't think that was fair last week. And
Jimmy G came back to get me. That was unfair.
That was unfair. Phil's big 3, 2-1, 7-2 after 3 weeks, 3-0 in your locks, man. You might be college football, Phil, this year.
Hey, listen. Yeah, when you go into handicapping 2 different, football sports, you take being an expert in 1 out of 2 every year. You take that and sign up for that. 7-2, 3-0 best bets. Just stick with me on the best bets. I got you.
Seriously, you're making it happen. You know what? And the thing is, it's early in the season, and you're a fighter, man. You're the comeback kid. I wouldn't put you out. But
I got my Notre Dame move on here,
dude. Let's just jump right into it, man. I got 6 observations from last week. Once again, man, you are so fast with this. I do not prepare you. You have no idea what I'm going to talk about. But man, you're like lightning quick, man. You're like lightning quick.
Bring it.
As long as it's not baseball
Met
trivia,
Hall of
man,
Famers.
you're in good shape. All right, so number 1, the Jets, which is why you're wearing green today, the true reason,
True
beat the
reason.
Browns 31-30 with 2 touchdowns in the last 1 minute and 22 seconds. So my question to you is this just a fluke, or is there actually something going on in New York?
Is there something brewing at MetLife Stadium?
Seriously.
I mean, here's the thing. We'll have to see. It's to be determined, and it's a little bit weird in that it's not the future quarterback leading this, yay or nay, right? So if they are a disaster, I guess the redeeming piece for the Jets is if they're a disaster this week against the Bengals in a team that's coming to town that's 0-2 and desperate,
Yep.
the Jets can turn to Zach Wilson week 4 and it's like, okay, our guy's back, so they're good. If they win and go to 2-1, it's a little bit of a conundrum, like, oh, they're a little bit hot, they got a little mojo going, and now they got to
Yeah.
switch quarterbacks, but they have to. You have to give the kid his job back.
Of
So
course, of course.
do I think the Jets? We talked about this off air the other day. I think the Jets have if you took the name of New York Jets out of the equation and you just put the offensive firepower that they have and you just put them on any other team, people would be higher on the higher on the offense, right? With Brees Hall, Michael Carter at the backs, that's a very young, talented duo. Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and even Corey Davis as your number 3. If Garrett Wilson really is a 1, Corey Davis is a really good 3. And you got serviceable tight ends now in Conklin and Usama from the former Bengal. It's a pretty good, talented offense. If your offensive line is just, average to above average, and you get reasonable quarterback play, they should move the football and score points. That offense should do that. We'll see. They're the Jets, so we'll see. But I'm interested. This week is very interesting. A desperate Bengal team comes to MetLife. It's an interesting game.
Yeah, and listen, if you're the Jets, it's the right time to play the Bengals when they're just not clicking yet.
Yeah, it's just a matter of they're going to probably click, and you don't want to be the team they click on. So it's like we got to see.
Right. And didn't Sauce Gardner allow his first ever touchdown on somebody that he was defending in his life?
I believe he did, but it was in a zone cut. It's kind of debatable. They were in like a soft zone, and he gave him the inside route, and he was taking away the fade, and nobody came in. It was Mari Cooper. And so I think it's debatable if it counts, but he did have 4 catches against him, but it was for like 28 yards.
Yeah.
All little dinky donkey stuff. He's still been really good.
Yeah. Oh, he's a stud. He's a stud. All right. Number two. The Indianapolis Colts. All right. So this is a team that was I think still supposed to win that division, right? So week 1, what do? You look at their schedule, and week 1, who do they have? They play the Texans. Week 2, they play Jacksonville. You're looking at that and you're like, oh my God, this is a lock. This is, these guys are a piece of cake. So they tie the Texans in week 1, down 20-3, I might add, had to come back to tie that game. And then they get shut out at Jacksonville. So what do you make of this team, and what are they going to do now that they're actually playing a good team this week in the Chiefs?
I mean, this
is bad. This is really bad.
So the best thing I could say about the Colts right now is they're in the worst division in football.
Yeah.
And they're 0-1-1. So if you're a Colts fan, it's like, hey, everybody take a deep breath. Even if you lose this game, which you probably will to a good Chiefs team, and you're 0-2-1 in a 17-game season, that's just not that bad yet.
Right.
What I would say about them is, listen, they got rid of Carson Wentz because they wanted, they didn't think he was the answer. I don't know what question they were asking originally to think that he was the answer, but then they went to another aging veteran who some people thought, get him out of Atlanta. He's got one more hurrah, change of scenery. And, thus far he's rewarded them with 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. And he's been sacked 7 times because he's immobile. He's fumbled 3 times. He's put the ball on the ground 3 times in 2 games. He could have 7 turnovers already. He only lost 1 of the fumbles. He's got 5 turnovers in 2 games. Well, when you bring a veteran in, that's not what you want. And they have a pretty good offensive line. I can't lie to everybody and say I've seen the Colts games, but he's a statue back there. And in a game that's really about mobility and getting out of the pocket. Now, don't get me wrong. A few of these guys, Tom Brady made a living being in the pocket, but you need a really good pocket. You need to make quick, decisive decisions. You need to be laser accurate. If you're going to have one less weapon at your disposal, which is your legs, you need
Yep.
to be really good where everywhere else. So far, he's been bad. And
That's true.
you got the best running back in football, and they're still not doing anything offensively. So
Yeah,
you wouldn't be thrilled, but if I was, giving Indianapolis viewers, we got a lot of them out there. We were giving them hope. The hope is you're 0-1-1 in the worst division of football.
But you know what? I feel bad for Jonathan Taylor. I mean, here this guy is. I mean, he is a stud. He's all world running
Yeah.
back. He's arguably the best running back in football. And when you don't, when the teams aren't afraid of your quarterback, then they're going to stack the box. And he may have an awful season this year. And there's nothing you can do. You know.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna stick to my prediction that they win the division. It's a bad division. I'm gonna stick to it right now. I think the best thing that happened to them is the Titans are no good. After being really good for a while,
They're not
really
good. Lucky.
So
yeah.
9 wins is probably winning this division. 9-8. I think the Colts can probably still get there if they figure it out. So I'm not gonna go nuts, and I'm not gonna change my opinion if they lose to the Chiefs this week. They're probably gonna. 0-2-1 is not a disaster. I think they can recover from 0-2.
Not yet. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, listen, Matt Ryan is not any good.
Well, yeah, you saw him in Atlanta a lot. I mean,
listen. The problem with the Colts is, man, they got spoiled for all those years. They had Manning for all those years, and then he left. And what do? They pick up Andrew Luck, and then since he suddenly retired, dude, they can't find anybody. But actually, the guy that was playing for them, Brissett, is actually playing some decent ball in Cleveland. So they botched that one.
How many times do you think the Colts owner or through back channels have reached out to old Andrew
Luck? Oh,
he's
hundreds,
still
probably
32, probably 33.
They probably call him on a daily basis, and he's just living his best life. He's probably still getting paid from the Colts. Who the hell knows? So anyway, number three. The Miami Dolphins, dude, they score 28 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Ravens. Oh my God. So I got two questions for you. One is, are the Dolphins for real? And two, can anybody in the NFL, does any other team have two defensive backs that can actually cover Waddle and Hill in the same game?
So no. I don't think so. And I gotta preface this. Like I'm not a Tua guy. Everybody knows that. You know that more than anybody. I'm not a Tua guy. I'm still not a Tua guy. It's a great comeback. I mean, it's they're 2-0. It's an incredible comeback. I don't know what the Ravens were doing to allow such a big comeback. They present big time challenges. Having Waddle, having Tyreek Hill is a big time challenge to any defense. And by the way, they're playing the Bills this week at home. The Bills have announced 6 of their starting defenders are out, including both of their starting corners and one of their safeties. The Bills will be starting their 3rd and 4th corners.
Wow.
Their backup free safety, their best pass rusher is out, and another defensive interior position guy.
You're kidding me.
So
wow.
So the spread probably moved massively on this game.
I would think so.
I'm not going to change I think the Dolphins are probably looking like a playoff team now. So I didn't think that was necessarily the case. I think the Bills are still much the best team in the division. But if the Bills are playing without 6 of their defensive starters in probably what'll be 95-degree heat in Miami against those receivers, I would now switch my pick to Miami this week.
Wow.
So, and I'm guessing the spread moved drastically. The Bills just announced all these guys are out. So that's the benefit of us doing this on a Saturday.
I know, right?
But like their whole so literally the Bills were favored by 7, I think. And now it's 4. So it moved 3 points.
Wow.
But I mean, they're missing a lot of guys. So I think the Dolphins could be 3-0. I mean, are you talking?
Could be.
If the Bills can go to Miami without their starting 2 corners and 6 of their starting defenders and win in Miami, the division's over. The division's over. So
you know what? Yeah, I agree.
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have to be a nightmare for the 3rd and 4th string corners. If they're not, I mean, forget it. But they should be. So Miami's had it break right for them if they're catching the Bills that banged up.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So are they for real? I still don't believe in the quarterback. So I'm gonna pump the brakes and say I'm lukewarm on are they for real?
Well, you know what?
Because I don't believe in him. I don't believe he's the answer. I don't believe in his long-term durability. I don't believe in his ability that now you have to realize defenses need time to adjust to this new team. This is a new team, Miami, with this type of speed.
Yeah,
all over the
yeah,
field.
yeah, yeah.
I would be jumping routes. I would be playing tight coverage. You know, you got to get your hands up to his 5'10", 5'11", whatever he is.
Yeah.
You know, I would let him run because I don't think he's really a scrambler, and I'd want to get shots on him. I don't know if teams are playing that way yet, but like I just don't believe in him. So I gotta be cautious about how good I think they are. It's just
I
my
don't
opinion.
know, man. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. It was fun to watch them last week. I watched the fourth quarter of that game, and that was
That's how I
fun
know
to
you're a
watch.
pseudo Jets fan, because nobody that's a Jet fan could really say Miami's fun to watch. If you're like a Jet, if you're a diehard Jet fan, as long as I am, you can't like the Dolphins.
I didn't say I like the
You
Dolphins.
said
You're
it was
such a
fun to watch them.
dude. You are so mean to
You're
me
you're
sometimes,
a
man. I
crappy fan. You're a crappy
dude,
Jet
you know
fan.
what? I'm gonna bitch
Give me your
slap you through
favorite team. Give
this.
me your favorite team. I'm gonna go. It's the Indiana Hoosiers. Right?
Okay.
It'd be like me
Okay.
being like, oh, I'm a big Hoosier fan too. Man, Michigan's been fun to watch in basketball this year. Just those alley oops,
Dude,
that great
first off,
passing,
first
that
off,
just that
man, you're
that that that's just been fun. Hasn't it
their
been fun?
their
Hasn't it been fun?
fundamentals are really great.
Hasn't it been
No,
fun?
first off, I didn't say I like watch. I said I liked watching the fourth quarter.
I thought you said they were fun to watch. I don't know. I heard fun.
Yes, in the fourth quarter, they were fun to
Well, nope.
watch in that game.
All right. So did you see the Wolverines come back down 34 to Indiana? That was fun, man. That was fun to watch. I know I root for Indiana, but it was
Listen,
fun.
listen, I'm a big fan of Michigan football too. I mean,
Take the L on this.
they barely squeaked by UConn last week, 59-0.
Murderous
Anyway,
road schedule of Michigan
let's
Wolverines.
really tough, really tough. I don't know who's got it worse, Michigan or UGA. All right, so let's go to number 4, and that is the Broncos, a team of consistency, have scored 16 points in each of their first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they spend all this money on Russell Wilson. What is it going to take for this team to get on track? Because this is a decent team. This is probably a good team, and obviously a very tough division, but a good team. So what is it going to take for Russell Wilson to get on track with everybody else on this team?
Yeah, I mean he is very un-Russell Wilson, like 59% completions. He's usually well over 60.
Yeah, yeah.
Two TDs, 1 interception. He's not really running with the ball. He's not running at all. He's not trying to run. He's got 3 attempts for 5 yards. So he's not comfortable. And I think it is fair to say Nathaniel Hackett's gotten all the abuse in the world for how he's run the first 2 games, including the obvious one. Everybody
Yeah.
mocked him for 2 days on settling for a 64-yard field goal to try to win a game when they had a minute left and they just didn't go for it on 4th and 5. You don't pay Russell Wilson 40-something million to sit on the ball and kick a 64-yard field goal. So he's on his way out if things don't turn around, because they're already chomping at the bit. I gotta give Wilson it's a new offense for him after years in
Yeah,
Seattle.
yeah,
Got to give
yeah.
him some time to figure it out. I think they have weapons between Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon at running back is a good combo. You know, Jerry Judy's a potentially game-breaking receiver. He's never really had a good quarterback yet in his
No, no,
career.
no.
You know, so I believe in his skill set and his talent. I gotta believe they're gonna turn this thing around. But a tough division, and so they could easily bury themselves where they have no chance to win the division.
Yeah,
That might already be happening soon. So
you got to win those early games before you get into all the division stuff where you're just
yeah, I mean,
are going to
and
be
on
tough.
paper they couldn't have gotten an easier start. A bad Seattle team, and then who they just beat, the Texans barely or something. Who they
Yeah,
beat?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can't get an easier
They're
schedule.
not. Yeah, it's just. I mean, when you're winning, when
Yeah,
you're beating a team 16-9, I mean, there's
yeah, yeah.
something going on there. So yeah,
So
I
we'll
mean,
see.
I think
Let's see. We got to give them time. I think the theme is pump the brakes on Miami being world beaters. Let's give it.
yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Also let's not assume Denver's dead or the Colts are dead yet. Let's give them
Okay,
new quarterbacks, new systems, new teams.
it's still early, man,
Yeah,
and you are the man. And you know what? Even fill up your bank account. I mean, you're the same way. You gotten off to a slow start this year.
I'm gonna pump the brakes on calling me dead. I'm not
You
dead
know,
yet. Give me a little
we're
time.
we're gonna call you the Matt Ryan of handicappers. That's what we're gonna call you.
My track record last year, I'm gonna refer back to for a few more weeks till I get my new track record on track. Or I can give you the old college football spiel, which is looking good. So,
All right. So number 5, the 49ers beat Seattle. Jimmy G is back in town. So let me ask you this. I mean, Trey Lance is Trey Lance. I mean, he's a young guy. He's
yeah.
not really proven. And when he went down with the broken leg, were 49ers fans, were they upset or were they happy
Giddy.
that he went down?
Well,
I hate
I
to
mean,
say
listen,
it.
Here's just an independent, statistics. Trey Lance, 15 of 31, 194 yards. That's 48% completions. Jimmy G, 13 of 21, 62% completions. One touchdown, no interceptions versus no touchdowns, one interception. It's a small sample, but Jimmy G is a professional veteran quarterback. They have a professional win now roster. If I'm sure in a quiet room, the GM, the head coach, and the organization is probably not terribly upset. In a quiet moment amongst themselves, they're saying we have a win now roster with
Yeah,
a young quarterback who, after sitting for a year,
Yep.
didn't look ready to win now.
No.
And we
no.
built a team to win now, and we gave they would have traded Deebo Samuel and gotten a bunch of first round and second round picks if they were punting on the season. They weren't. So now you get Jimmy G back in a winnable division where Russell Wilson left. And I know the Rams are the Super Bowl champs, but maybe, they're the only good team in that division.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a winnable playoff spot, at least if you beat
Yeah,
up the bad
definitely is.
teams, and you
Yeah.
definitely have a real path in a weak NFC in general. The NFC is weak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't want to punt on this season. And Jimmy G's led you to a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer that in a quiet room, especially if you think you missed on Trey Lance and he's not the answer.
Mm.
Well, now you get the perfect situation. You didn't have to bench the kid you drafted third. He's out for the year. And now you hand the reins back to a veteran who's still not that old, who can handle the team. I mean, it's a Niner organization that's a good franchise. Things break their way. When you want to know why some franchises stay good, it's because when they make a big mistake, the guy breaks his ankle and they have a very good backup plan who's going to lead them to a better season than they would have had.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little luck. You got to be a little lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. But you
Yeah.
know what? And you think about it this way, though, he's got a lot to play for.
Who?
Because
Jimmy
if
G. Yeah, he's
yeah,
playing for
because
a fat contract.
oh, he could, yeah, if he leads them to the playoffs, yeah, he'll. I mean,
How
the fact.
ironic, he might get a big contract with the Niners if they agree Trey Lance isn't the answer, right? He
How
was out the
funny is
door
that?
and now he
I
gets a
know.
nice big contract to stay there.
Yeah, and this guy has more money than he's ever going to
Oh
need.
yeah.
He got a massive contract initially, but anyway, so we'll see. We'll see. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm excited about it because I'm not a Trey Lance. I mean, I like his cracker, but that's about it. All right, number 6, Eagles 24, Vikings 7. Kirk Cousins. I was in Minneapolis, and I'm watching this game with all kinds of Vikings fans. And Kirk Cousins had 3 bad picks. Every time he touched the ball, it looked like it was going to be intercepted. And a QBR of 18.1. And it just seemed like every few games, Kirk Cousins has a game like this, just to remind you, hey guys, I'm still Kirk Cousins. Just when you thought I was good, I'm really not. So my question is this: can this guy ever win either a big game or a road game? Because, ouch, this guy looked god awful.
He is a very, very all-time interesting quarterback in that, I don't know if you know this stat. I'll give you a little. I'm not usually the guy who brings the stats. If you want to sum up Kirk Cousins' career to somebody who just landed in from Afghanistan and never heard of the NFL, Kirk Cousins' career record, 62, 62, and 2.
No kidding.
The epitome of mediocrity.
And how much money does this guy make?
And the thing about Kirk Cousins is he has really good career stats.
Yeah.
He really does. But he, from a gamer perspective, he just throws in far too many dud performances, particularly in the big spotlight games. That he's like that quarterback that you would see. He's like the bully quarterback. When he's playing mediocre to bad defenses, he lights them up. And when he faces adversity and any type of good defense or any type of road game, he gets lit up.
Yep.
And so that's why he's such an interesting player. I get why he's been paid the money he's been paid. He can settle a franchise. He's a good overall player.
Yeah.
But you have to cringe. Like his last couple of years, 33 touches, 7 picks, 35 touches, 13 picks, 26-6, 30-10. As a Viking, he's been money in terms of just numbers. But has it really translated to like a million wins? No, it's translated to mostly mediocre quarterbacking, from a win-loss perspective. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the stats that matter, man. It's the win losses. That's all that matters. And he just doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it. Anyway,
he just doesn't do it.
Let's move on. Let's talk about giving out your game ball. I hesitate to even ask if it goes to anybody else because Tua was 36 for 50, 469 yards with 6 touchdowns, led his team to a 28-point fourth quarter comeback. You can't give it to anybody else. I'm sorry. I don't even need to mention anybody else. There were some great performances, but
All right.
there's no way anybody else gets the game ball. I mean, those numbers are
If you
just
gave me any
absurd.
other name, I was gonna find a way to pick it, but I understand.
I mean, there's other guys that had great games. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Darius Slay on the Eagles, he had 2 interceptions and 5 pass defenses. I mean,
That's
that
about as
doesn't
good as you could do for that position. Yeah.
that doesn't happen. I mean, that's ridiculous. But he was all over the game. I was watching
Nah,
that. So
we salute Tua. We salute him.
yeah, he did it. No matter what, even if you don't like him, dude, it was like he was in Alabama last week. All right, Phil's big 3. We've
Mhm.
all been waiting for it. We're 40 minutes into this episode. Everybody is sitting on the edge of their seats. They're like, "Oh my God, it's Saturday morning. You got to get this out here so we can make our picks. Let's go. What do we got?"
Well, and I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna toot away a little bit. I'm not just 7-2, 3-0 in best bets. I'm picking the best games. So I'm not just picking my favorite
You
games.
are.
I've created this new way of looking at the picks where I'm giving you what I think are the best games, and I'm just kind of using the rankings. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, no, it's
you
fair
know.
enough.
So
It's fair enough.
we'll start on a nice noon kickoff. So you only got 3 hours to get your
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Caesar's Palace app opened up or whatever. We probably should get a sponsorship at one of these betting apps so we can start making more money. But you get your FanDuel app open and you turn to a little noon kickoff down in the south between number 5 Clemson and number 21 Wake Forest. Now, here's the thing about this game. If I remember correctly from Notre Dame venturing into Wake Forest, this stadium holds a grand old capacity of probably 35,000 people,
Okay.
which is probably the amount of total fans Wake Forest has in football. I'm expecting 35,000 to be there to watch a top 5 Clemson team come to town.
Yeah, yeah.
And for whatever reason, maybe it's DJ Ugalele. I can never pronounce his name right. Maybe it's
I think it's DJ Ooga Booga.
yeah, Ooga Booga, Oogie, or there's something missing in Clemson despite their 5th ranking
Yeah.
and just they don't I don't know. There's something missing there. Do I love Wake Forest? Nah, I don't love Wake Forest. I think they're okay. I think they got a little something to them. They've been a decent ACC program for the last 4 or 5 years. They're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
7.5 at home. I think that's a little much for Clemson to lay on the road. I think it's a little much. I think it's a nice spot, a nice noon kickoff. I think Clemson finds themselves in a dogfight in this game. Maybe they win at the end. They probably will. Maybe they win by 3 or 4. But I like Wake getting the 7.5. So that's the first game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like it.
Second game, we go to an oldie but goodie rivalry in the old SEC, featuring 2 teams I don't like, but for very different reasons. One, the Florida Gators, just never been a big fan of, but have no specific thing I hate about them. Just don't really like them. And then the team I really can't stand, who I've made a bone to say is always overrated, the
Yep, yep.
Tennessee Volunteers, who as soon as they're 3-0, of course they find themselves ranked 11th. I mean, why wouldn't they? Right? They haven't been 3-0. I mean, they've missed the boat every year on every preseason ranking. The 2 T's schools, Tennessee and Texas, have been
Yeah,
leading
yeah.
the charge that if they even sniff being good, they're in the top 10. Like it's like, oh my God, they're 10 years wrong, but they still get in there. So now I don't know. I did not do a lot of homework on this game. I did not. So I'm going to be very honest. I know that Tennessee has played Ball State, which is a powerhouse,
Powerhouse.
and
Powerhouse.
Akron. So they found
Oh,
the
the Zips.
they
Yeah.
found the Zips in Ohio to come down to Tennessee, right? And then in between that, they won in overtime against Pittsburgh, which cost me by a half a point. My one of my 2 losses is by a half a point
And
in that game.
Pittsburgh is a decent team, so
Decent
we'll
team.
give it
They
them. Yeah.
went to Pittsburgh and they won in overtime and they covered with the stupid, touchdown
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
Um, this is a step up in competition in the Gators. I'm just going to assume. I know the Gators, laid an egg last week after beating Utah in a good back and forth game,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
I don't know why the spread's 10.5. I don't know why Tennessee's 10.5 points favored. There is no way on God's green earth I'm taking Tennessee in this game. I'm taking the Gators. I'm taking the 10.5. And I'm going to assume that Tennessee's running down the hill and they lose one of their slippers, like in Cinderella, and they don't find it by midnight and they wake up from this trance they're in. I can't believe maybe Florida doesn't win the game. Maybe Tennessee's really good this year finally, but 10.5 seems a bit much. Now, if they smoke Florida, I'm
Yeah.
going to probably pump the brakes on getting on the Tennessee, beating them anymore down. But
All right.
for
All
one
right.
more week, I mean, I got nipped by a half a point, so I'm going to go back down this road on them. So I'll
Okay.
take Florida.
Fair
Plus
enough.
10.5.
What about
And
the best bet for the week?
those are the two best games. And I want to just throw this out there. I know Arkansas is the number 10 team, and they're playing the number 23 Texas A&M team. You guys see the air quotes? Texas A&M lost to who, my friends? Who did they lose to? Appalachian State. They don't belong number 23. It's a complete travesty. So I'm not going to honor that game and put it in the top 2 best games. Sorry, with all due respect to Texas A&M's 23 ranking. So I struggled with the best bet between 2 games. I really
Yep.
like 2 games. I am gonna, and for me to do this again, and I hate them. I believe they've had the gift of the gods scheduling wise. Michigan, who's played no one. I
Yep.
mean, with a capital N, no one.
That's not true. They played
Jets,
UConn last week.
yeah. I mean, they've played terrible school after terrible school. They finally go into Big Ten competition and play the Maryland Terrapins, who again aren't good. And like, if anybody thinks Maryland's 3-0 record has any weight to it, just click on their name. They beat SMU by 7, and their other wins are against Buffalo and Charlotte. So like, let's just pump the brakes because SMU was the best team they played, and at home they beat them by a touchdown. So Michigan in Ann Arbor, another noon kickoff. So get these bets in quick. They're
Nice.
noon. They're
Nice.
noon kickoffs. Lays 17. I think you could lay 30. I don't think this is a close game. I think Michigan probably beats them like 42-10.
Yeah. Yeah.
The score. I don't even think Michigan's that good. As soon as they play a decent opponent, I'm probably going to pick against them. But it's
Mhm.
this just couldn't have got easier for Michigan. They haven't left the state of Michigan. They haven't left Ann Arbor, and they haven't played a team that's even reasonable yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
bet, Michigan laying 17.
I
That is
like
my
it.
week 4 picks.
I like it. I like it. Now let's see if you can redeem yourself with
With the
the
NFL.
NFL pick. Fill up your bank account has been more like empty out your bank account. So come on, man. Let's put a 3-0 week on the board here. Come on.
I'd like
Come on.
to.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Come on,
I
Phil.
sure
We
would
need
like
it.
to. So
We need it.
I had to make some adjustments, and I'm really glad we're making these picks
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning because there's been a lot of big injury announcements that I
Yeah.
obviously wasn't anticipating. So
Yeah.
first one,
Yeah.
I don't normally pick the Jets. I went there last week, grabbed a win out of it. Normally we stay away from our teams by nature. It's not usually a place we like to reside. I'm going back down the road with the Jets. Plus 6.5 against the Bengals at home. I think MetLife will be cranking. They're 1-1. There's a little hope. I don't think Burrow between the early missed the preseason. He's
Yeah.
not been great so far, and the strength of the Bengals. So like this, I do feel confident in. The strength of the Bengals is throwing the football. The
Yeah.
strength of the Bengals is Higgins and obviously Jamar Chase.
Yep. Yep.
Through 2 weeks, the strength of the Jets is really getting good cornerback play from DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It should theoretically be the best defense the Jets have in terms of their strong suit meeting their strong suit. I think the Jets are due for a breakout in their front, getting pressure on Burrow. I
Yeah.
don't think Burrow's moving that great right now. I don't know if it's between the knee, the appendectomy, whatever's going on. He's not moving great. I also think the flip side is the Bengals defense is going to have some issues with the Jets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if the Jets win the game, but I think plus 6.5 for a home team that's feeling some positive vibes, that's feeling good, is too many
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'm going to take the Jets plus 6.5.
That's a great call.
Second game, again, I'm totally going a 180 on this, but I'm taking Miami getting 5 at home against Buffalo. The spread on ESPN right now is 5. I'm taking Miami plus 5. You can't tell me with the amount of weapons Miami has and Buffalo being down 6 defensive starters. You only get 11. They're down 6. That's more than
incredible.
50% of their defense out
That's
for the game.
incredible.
I got to believe Miami plus 5. I don't know why this line didn't move more. I thought it was going to say plus 1 or plus 2. It started at 8 or 7, but it's only down to 5. Give me Miami plus 5. I'm not going to overthink it. I think the spread's wrong.
Yep.
And I'm just going to
Yep.
roll with it.
Yep.
Now, if Buffalo blows them out, they're well on their way to the Super Bowl, because that would be the most impressive win, all things being equal.
If Buffalo wins this game, they may not lose all season. I mean, that's
and
how
they could
good.
win this game. I still get 5, so I'm going to take a shot that
Yeah, that's true.
Miami should be in good shape here.
That's true. All
And
right, time
maybe
for the lock.
and so it's an AFC East theme because I'm going to go to the only other AFC East team that I haven't talked about, which is the Patriots, and I'm picking against them. I don't like them. The Ravens are off an embarrassing collapse of a game. They have the by far better quarterback. They have the better roster.
Yep. Yep.
They're off an embarrassing loss, and you only have to lay 2.5. I don't think Foxborough is some incredibly tough place to play. I think Patriot fans are so spoiled by the last 20 years. This place may have
Yeah.
empty seats in it because I don't think the Patriot fans like their own team this year. And so I think Baltimore walks in there and smacks them. Like, I
Yeah.
think they take all their frustration out on blowing a massive lead and they smack the Patriots. And I don't know why the spread's only 2.5. So I like it as my best bet, but I gotta be honest, I almost made the Dolphins my best bet, but I'm gonna stick with the Ravens because that's what I had before we started the podcast. So I'll stick with them, and
Yeah.
I'll take the Ravens -2.5. So it's Jets +6.5, Dolphins +5, Ravens -2.5. It's an all AFC East themed Phil's football Saturday. So if I could pull the trifecta sweep off, I get back over 500, which would be nice.
That would be fantastic. And you know what? Your logic, I think, is dead on. It really is.
We'll
I mean,
see. I mean, listen, I'm picking against Josh Allen, which is not usually a good thing to do, but there's an extenuating circumstance. So I'm gonna.
you know what? It's too bad we're not picking over under because that game could be a very, very high scoring game.
Yeah, well, Buffalo. Yeah, I agree. So
You know, Buffalo's
fingers
going to put up
crossed. Get
points
back
all
on track.
season. Yeah, we'll see.
Get your money in your account. Get the sportsbook betting apps open. Big Miami, big
That's
Jets.
That's good, man.
And so if I've been given a theme, it was week 1 was bet a car payment. Week 2 was bet your lunch money, but maybe like a decent lunch. Week 3, I got a lot of confidence. Get the mortgage payment back.
Oh,
Let's
the
get
mortgage payment back. Oh,
Get the mortgage
this
payment back. Let's go.
man, you heard it here
Let's
first, man.
go.
You
Mortgage payment.
you don't have to worry about you're going to get an extra month of mortgage payments this year. You bet the 3 with a mortgage payment, you're looking at a sizable return, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, Phil, man, way to go on a early Saturday morning. We'll get this thing out there, but you know, everybody enjoy your week of football again, your weekend, and all the great races that are happening. Well, not really any great races in baseball because they're pretty much all over.
Wait, let me throw this out there. The Mets, as of late last night, 2.5 game lead. Let's see.
They have just turned it on.
Well,
but
see. We'll see.
You know what though? But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if your team like the Braves anyway or the Mets.
No, it
because
matters.
You're
I
in
will
the
say this,
playoffs.
the Braves, it matters less too because they won the World Series and everything. I think for the
Yeah,
Mets, and as a Met fan, we need the buy-in to win the
Yeah.
division. I think psychologically, the Mets need to win the division. So
Listen, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. The fact that the Orioles have played Houston and shut them out 2 games in a row,
great season.
including the first the starter pitched 8 2/3 innings. They wouldn't let him finish the first game. That would have been a shutout. And then yesterday was a 9-inning shutout. And shutouts by pitchers are very rare nowadays.
Just like my football picks, ladies and gentlemen, between college and pro, the Orioles theme for next season is going to be high hopes. High hopes.
Amen to that, brother.
79-71, finish over 500, and the trajectory is pointing up in Maryland. That's great.
It's bound to happen, man. Bound to happen. I didn't think it was going to be in my lifetime, but it turns out it is. So this is exciting. It's exciting. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Keep watching. Keep having fun with us. And we will talk to you next week. So thanks for joining.
See you guys.